God is about to make a major move. You feel the stirring in your spirit, the anticipation rising in the air like a breath being held, waiting to be released. It is not a move like any other. It is a move that will shake things up. It is a move that will shift the ground beneath your feet, but not in a way that will destabilize you, in a way that will anchor you in the truth of who you are meant to be. God is positioning you, preparing you, aligning the circumstances in your life for something profound, something that will be beyond your understanding and imagination. The question is, are you ready for it? Are you ready for the shift? Are you ready for what God is about to do in your life, in your family, in your community, in your nation? The Word of God tells us that His ways are not our ways and His thoughts are not our thoughts. He works in ways that are far above our comprehension. And yet, at times, He will give us a glimpse, a sign, a whisper that something big is about to happen. If you're paying attention, you'll begin to see the signs, the doors closing in one area, but suddenly doors opening in places you never expected. You may have been walking a path for years and it seems like there was no end in sight, but now God is about to take that path and twist it into something new. You may feel like you've been stuck in a place of waiting, but God is telling you today that the wait is over. He's about to make His move. This move is not for the faint of heart. It's not for those who are content with the status quo, who are comfortable in their little corner of the world. This move is for those who are willing to step out of the comfort zone, who are bold enough to say, I'm ready to go wherever you lead me, God. It's for those who understand that there's something bigger than their personal plans, their personal desires. This move is for those who will not shrink back, but will press forward into the unknown, trusting that God is already ahead of them, making a way where there seems to be no way. Do you feel that stirring inside you? It's a stirring of destiny, a stirring of purpose. God is speaking to your heart, saying, get ready, prepare yourself. For what I am about to do will exceed your expectations. What I am about to do will challenge you to grow, challenge you to believe bigger, challenge you to trust in the unseen and to move by faith and not by sight. There's an urgency in the air, and it's time to stop playing small. It's time to stop holding back. You were created for more than what you've been living. You were made for greatness, and now God is about to reveal that greatness in you. God is getting ready to elevate you. You may have been overlooked, underestimated, and dismissed by people, but God sees you. He knows your heart. He knows the faithfulness you've shown, even in the midst of difficulty. He knows the sacrifices you've made, the prayers you've prayed in the quiet of the night, the tears you've cried when no one was around. You may have felt like your efforts were unnoticed, but God sees. And He's saying, now is the time for you to step into the fullness of your purpose. Now is the time for you to shine. This is not about self-promotion, but it's about God's glory being revealed through your life. He's about to shift the atmosphere. It may feel like chaos at first, but don't be afraid. When God begins to move, sometimes it feels like everything is falling apart, but in reality, He is simply clearing the space for His glory to manifest. Just like in the beginning when the earth was without form and void, and the Spirit of God hovered over the waters, sometimes there has to be a period of emptiness, a moment of uncertainty before the new thing can come forth. God is working in the unseen right now. You may not understand what's happening behind the scenes, but you can trust that He's working, He's moving pieces into place, aligning people, situations, and opportunities to set the stage for His move. God's move is not just about your personal success, although it may look like that in the natural. It's not just about you getting what you want, but it's about God's purpose being fulfilled in the earth. It's about His kingdom advancing, about His people walking in the fullness of what He has called them to do. When God makes a major move, it always has a ripple effect. It touches more than just the individual. It touches families, it touches communities, it touches nations. Your breakthrough is connected to someone else's breakthrough. Your success is connected to someone else's success. When God moves, He's not just blessing you, He's blessing everyone around you, and that blessing overflows into the world. But here's the key. God is not going to force you into this move. He's calling you, but you have to be willing to answer. You have to be willing to let go of the old, to let go of the past, to let go of the things that have held you back. Sometimes we hold on to things because they're familiar, because they give us a false sense of security. But God is saying, you can't carry the weight of the old season into the new season. You can't bring the old baggage with you into the new move I'm about to make. You have to release it. This move is going to require faith, is going to require trust. You may not understand everything that is happening. You may not see how it's all going to work out, but that's where the faith comes in. Faith is believing even when you can't see the whole picture. Faith is trusting God even when you don't know the next step. But here's the thing, God is not asking you to figure it all out. He's not asking you to know every detail. He's just asking you to trust him with your whole heart and to follow his lead. You're stepping into a season of divine acceleration. It may have taken years for things to line up, but suddenly things are about to move quickly. What took decades to build, God can turn around in an instant. What seemed impossible just yesterday will be possible today. You're about to experience breakthroughs that will leave you speechless. Things that have been delayed are now going to come to fruition. Dreams that you thought were dead are going to come back to life. This is the time to move in faith, to step out and take hold of the opportunities that God is bringing your way. God is moving in your families, about to restore relationships that seem broken beyond repair. He's about to heal wounds that have been festering for years. The generational cycles of pain, disappointment, and failure are being broken, and you are stepping into a new season of peace, unity, and restoration. What the enemy meant for evil, God is turning around for good. What has been a source of division is about to become a source of strength. There is reconciliation coming, not just between individuals, but between entire families. You will see the hand of God move in your relationships in a way that brings healing and wholeness. God is moving in your finances. You may have felt the weight of financial struggle, but God is about to open the windows of heaven and pour out blessings that you will not have room enough to receive. This is the season of divine provision. God is going to provide for you in ways you never expected. He's going to open doors of opportunity that lead to financial breakthrough. He's going to give you wisdom on how to manage your resources, how to invest, how to save, and how to give. This is not just about having more money. It's about stewarding what God gives you with wisdom and purpose. When God moves in your finances, it's always with the intention that you will be a blessing to others. God is moving in your purpose. You've been asking, what am I here for? What is my purpose? And God is saying, now is the time for you to walk in it. You are stepping into the fullness of the destiny he has for you. Your gifts, your talents, your abilities, everything he has placed inside you is going to come alive in a new way. You will begin to see yourself as God sees you, not as the world sees you. You will understand your value, your worth, and your calling. This move will take you to new heights in your personal and professional life. You are about to become everything God created you to be. The move of God is happening right now. It's not coming in the future. It's happening in the present. It's happening in this moment. God is moving in the hearts of his people, stirring up a passion for his kingdom. He's moving in the earth, preparing the way for his glory to be revealed, and he's calling you to be a part of it. This is your time. This is your moment. Don't let fear hold you back. Don't let doubt steal your confidence. Step out in faith. Step out in trust. God is about to make a major move, and he wants you to be a part of it. Get ready, get prepared. The move of God is happening, and it's going to change everything. Your life will never be the same again. Get ready for the shift. It's here. God is about to make a major move in your life, one that will challenge you to step out of your comfort zone and trust him fully. Embrace the shift, knowing that it will lead you into a greater purpose and destiny. The time of waiting is over. What once seemed impossible is now possible as God accelerates your journey. Breakthroughs that took years to manifest will happen suddenly and swiftly, changing the trajectory of your life. Adi's move requires faith, even when you can't see the full picture. Trust in his timing, his plan, and his ability to provide, even when the path ahead is unclear. It's through faith that you'll walk into your new season. God is about to make a significant move in your life, and it's a move that will demand your attention, your trust, and your willingness to embrace change. Change is never easy, especially when it comes suddenly or when it requires us to let go of something we've known for so long. But this is precisely what God is calling you to do. Embrace the shift. The shift is not just a momentary change, but a complete realignment of your path, a divine redirection that leads you into your purpose in a way you've never experienced before. The shift can feel uncomfortable, even unsettling, because it asks you to release your grip on the familiar. It asks you to move forward when everything around you seems uncertain. You might find yourself questioning, why now? Why this? Why me? It's easy to resist because the unknown can be frightening. But it's essential to understand that God's shifts are never without purpose. They are meant to elevate you to a higher level, to stretch you beyond your comfort zone, and to move you into a place where you can fully experience His promises in ways you haven't imagined. There are seasons in our lives where we get comfortable, where we build routines and patterns that feel safe. We know what to expect, and we are in control of our circumstances. But that comfort can sometimes become a barrier to the bigger things God has for us. Sometimes God shakes things up because He knows that in order for you to grow, you need to step into the unknown. When God calls you to embrace the shift, it's because He's preparing you for something greater, something more aligned with the destiny He has planned for you. You may not understand why things are changing or why it feels like the ground beneath you is shifting, but you can trust that God is the ultimate architect of this move. He sees the bigger picture. What feels like uncertainty to you is merely God rearranging the pieces of your life in alignment with His divine purpose. Embracing the shift requires faith. Faith that even in the midst of change, God is still in control. Faith that even when the path ahead seems unclear, He will guide you step by step. Faith that even when you don't understand why things are happening the way they are, God is always working things together for your good. One of the most challenging aspects of embracing the shift is the need to release what's behind you. Letting go can be difficult, especially when it involves relationships, jobs, dreams, or places that have been a part of your life for a long time. But there are times when holding on to the past can keep you from stepping into the future that God has for you. The shift requires you to let go of old mindsets, old habits, and old ways of thinking that may be holding you back from the fullness of your potential. God will never ask you to release something without replacing it with something better. It may take time to see the new thing He is doing, but you have to trust that it will be worth it. When you embrace the shift, you are choosing to say yes to the next level in your life. It's a declaration that you are ready to step into the fullness of God's plan for you. And stepping into that fullness requires you to let go of comfort, control, and even fear. The shift might bring challenges, but it will also bring growth, opportunities, and a deeper relationship with God. You will discover things about yourself that you never knew existed. You will uncover strengths and talents that you thought you didn't have. You will experience God's provision and guidance in ways you never anticipated. Sometimes the shift can come in the form of unexpected change. You might face a sudden job loss, a relocation, or a relationship change that leaves you wondering how to move forward. But in those moments of uncertainty, remember that God is still sovereign. He's not surprised by what's happening. He's not caught off guard. He is already making a way for you, and what looks like a setback is often God's way of setting you up for something even better. In these times, God is inviting you to lean in closer to Him, to trust Him more, and to rely on His wisdom as you navigate the change. Embracing the shift also means letting go of the idea that everything must make sense according to your understanding. God operates outside of our limited perspective, and His plans often unfold in unexpected ways. You might not see the full picture right now, but He does. It's not your job to figure out how it all works out. Your job is to follow Him, to trust in His timing, and to walk forward with faith, even when you don't have all the answers. As you embrace the shift, God will begin to reveal more and more of His plan to you, piece by piece, step by step. And as you move forward in obedience, you'll find that He will meet you at every turn, guiding your every step. Embracing the shift is also about understanding that it's not a one-time event, but a continual process. Life will always bring moments of change, of shifting, of growth. God is always moving us from glory to glory, taking us to higher heights in our walk with Him. Every time you embrace a shift, you're being prepared for the next one. Every shift is part of the ongoing process of transformation that God is working in your life. It's not about arriving at a final destination. It's about becoming the person God created you to be through the changes and challenges that shape you along the way. So when the shift comes, don't resist it, don't fight it. Trust that God knows what He's doing. Embrace the discomfort, embrace the uncertainty, and embrace the unknown. Know that this is part of God's divine plan for your life. He is setting you up for a greater experience of His presence, His power, and His purpose. This is your moment to rise, to stretch, and to step into the new thing He has for you. Embrace the shift and watch as God begins to move you in ways you never thought possible. Divine acceleration is a powerful, almost supernatural force that can catapult your life forward in ways that defy natural understanding. It's a sudden and rapid advancement in your life, a shift that moves you from a place of stagnation or waiting to a place of fruitfulness and accomplishment far quicker than what would be expected based on your effort alone. This acceleration is not bound by human limitations. It is fueled by the hand of God. When God decides to accelerate your destiny, He breaks through the normal processes of time and space to bring you into a season of unprecedented favor, growth, and opportunity. For many of us, it's easy to feel as though progress in life is slow, as though we're working tirelessly without seeing the results we long for. There are moments when it seems like our dreams are far out of reach, like our prayers are unanswered and our efforts are in vain. We may wonder if we are stuck, lost in a cycle that never changes, wondering when things will finally begin to shift. But divine acceleration is about breaking free from that cycle. It's about God intervening in ways that exceed our expectations. When divine acceleration comes, it changes everything. What took years to achieve can happen in months or even in days. You might be asking, how can this happen? How can I go from waiting and struggling to suddenly seeing breakthrough? The answer lies in understanding that divine acceleration isn't about the pace of your work or the amount of effort you put in. It's about God's timing and His divine favor coming upon you. It's about God's sovereign will intersecting with your circumstances, opening doors that no man can close and providing opportunities that you could never have engineered on your own. When God accelerates something in your life, He overrides the natural laws of time, resource, and opportunity to bring His purposes to pass in your life. The process of divine acceleration often requires you to step out in faith and take bold steps in the direction God is leading you. It requires you to be obedient, to trust Him even when the full picture is unclear. When you are aligned with His will and walking in His timing, things will begin to fall into place in ways that make you realize that God was at work the whole time, even when you couldn't see it. This acceleration is often accompanied by a season of increased favor, where people and circumstances begin to work in your favor in ways that defy logic. Relationships and opportunities that once seemed distant or out of reach suddenly become accessible, and your path becomes clearer. God's timing is perfect, and when He decides to accelerate something in your life, it is always for your good and His glory. He is preparing you for something bigger, something greater, and He wants you to be positioned to receive it. Divine acceleration brings with it a sense of urgency, but it is not a stressful urgency. It's a knowing that God is moving you quickly into the place He has always prepared for you. You will find yourself not only catching up to the pace, but thriving in. The key to experiencing divine acceleration is to remain in a place of trust, faith, and obedience. Trust that God knows the best timing for your breakthrough. Stay faithful in the small things and keep working towards your dreams, knowing that God will move on your behalf at the appointed time. As He accelerates your progress, He will ensure that you are equipped for the journey ahead. You will not only reach your destination faster, but you will also be strengthened in the process, prepared to carry the weight of the blessings He's bringing into your life. When divine acceleration occurs, it's as though everything you've been working toward, every prayer you've prayed, and every step you've taken in faith is suddenly rewarded. You will see a momentum that you didn't have before, a favor that you didn't earn, and opportunities that seem to come from nowhere. It's not about how hard you work. It's about trusting God and positioning yourself for His supernatural timing to move you forward at a pace you've never experienced. This is the power of divine acceleration at work in your life. Faith and trust in the unknown are essential components of the journey that leads us to the extraordinary plans God has for our lives. Life is filled with uncertainties, and the future often seems like a mystery waiting to unfold. When we step into the unknown, we are often faced with the challenge of letting go of our need to control every detail and choosing to rely on God's guidance, even when we can't see the path ahead. Trusting God in the unknown is not always easy, but it is in these moments of uncertainty that our faith is truly tested and strengthened. The unknown can be intimidating, especially when we have no clear vision of where we're headed or how things will turn out. We may feel overwhelmed by the uncertainty and question whether we are making the right choices. But faith is not about knowing all the answers. It is about trusting in the one who does. It is about surrendering our need for control and placing our confidence in God, knowing that His plans for us are always for our good. The unknown invites us to let go of our own understanding and lean on the promises that God has given us. It requires a deep trust that He is leading us even when the way forward seems unclear. In times of uncertainty, our faith grows when we shift our focus from our circumstances to the character of God. We may not know what the future holds, but we do know who holds the future. God is faithful, and He has never failed us. His word tells us that He will never leave us nor forsake us. When we place our trust in His unchanging nature, we can face the unknown with confidence, knowing that He is with us every step of the way. Faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting that God will reveal what we need to know when we need to know it. Trusting God in the unknown means walking without a detailed roadmap of our journey. It requires us to step forward in faith, one step at a time, even when we can't see the entire path. It's easy to trust when we can see where we're going, but the real test of faith comes when we have to walk in the dark, trusting that the light will show up as we take each step. It's a process of relying on God's timing and trusting that He is guiding us even when we can't see the full picture. This is where true faith is built, when we choose to move forward despite the fear, doubt, and uncertainty. Faith in the unknown also means trusting that God is not only guiding us, but that He is preparing us for something greater than we can imagine. Often when we face uncertain situations, it's easy to focus on what we can't control, the obstacles we can't see past, or the difficulties that seem insurmountable. But God works in ways that we cannot always comprehend. His thoughts are higher than ours, and His plans are greater than we can imagine. Even when we can't see how things will work out, we must trust that God is working everything together for our good and His glory. The unknown isn't a place of fear. It's a place where God can work His miracles in our lives. Sometimes when we step into the unknown, it can feel like we're being asked to give up something precious. Whether it's letting go of a dream, a relationship, or a familiar way of life, stepping into the unknown often requires us to release something in order to move forward. Trusting God means believing that what He has for us on the other side of the unknown is far greater than anything we've left behind. His plans are always better than our own, and when we trust Him fully, we can be assured that He will replace anything we've lost with something even better. The journey into the unknown is also a time for growth. It is in these moments of uncertainty that God shapes us, refines us, and strengthens our faith. As we trust Him in the unknown, He builds our character, teaching us patience, perseverance, and reliance on Him. We learn to lean into His grace, to seek His wisdom, and to hold on to His promises, even when the path ahead is unclear. The unknown becomes a place of transformation where our faith matures and we become more like the person God created us to be. Faith and trust in the unknown don't mean that we won't have doubts or fears. They simply mean that we choose to press through those feelings and continue to follow God even when we don't understand why things are happening the way they are. It's acknowledging our fears, but choosing to believe that God's plan is better, His timing is perfect, and His presence is enough to sustain us. Even when we can't see the way forward, we can trust that God is already there, preparing the way for us. In the unknown, we must learn to be still and listen for God's voice. Sometimes the most important thing we can do is not rush ahead or try to figure things out on our own. Instead, we must sit in the presence of God, waiting for His guidance. As we trust Him, He will direct our steps and give us the peace we need to move forward. In the unknown, we don't need to have all the answers because we have a God who knows everything, and He is more than capable of leading us through it all.